All right, we're going to return to our performances. And awesome. We're going to return to our performances now. This is Chaparral High School. They will be performing three pieces: Taiko a la Tom Tom, Napoli, and Hyperbole. Chaparral. Woo!
Napoli, everybody. Beautiful. All right, one more for you. This one's hyperbole.
Let's give him another round of applause. Why don't you guys come up right here behind Juan in this area? Oh, man, what's your name?
Juan.
This was such an outstanding performance. Look, there's no such thing as the perfect performance, okay? It doesn't exist. There's no perfection, there's no one way, there's no right and wrong. And like today, as much as any other group, I'm sitting back here listening to that sensitive piece with the guitar and the piano, and like I said, there's no such thing as a perfect performance, and I'm thinking, this is nice. I'm ready to pay, I'm ready to spend money and shell out for that right now. It's making me feel good, it's fun, it's a great vibe. The musicianship is very mature, so you've got a lot to be very proud of. I want to give you this, I have this handout for everybody. And so, with such beautiful things happening here, it's like, what are we going to talk about? So I'd say what I love. I love the way I got the sense that you were touching the instrument to make music. The block was beautiful. You all know how I feel about the triangle already. I would maybe try to find it. And actually, I have a mount I can show you there. But in terms of phrasing, let's just talk about phrasing. What you're doing, everything what you're doing is great. What is phrasing? I swear, people talked about phrasing, teachers talked about phrasing my whole, career, studying music, middle school, high school. I didn't even really get it, I feel like until yesterday, I can't tell you, I probably heard phrasing 1,000 times, at least, before anybody actually told me, David, phrasing. Of course, I knew it was the musical sentence, but it was probably 1,000 times before someone told me, David, phrasing is when you give a little shape to that musical sentence, and what things specifically you do to connect that musical sentence. What does it mean to phrase? How can you do that? It took so long, nobody was telling me these things, but they're all really simple. So here's 2 different ways that phrasing can be phrasing. One, if you have 16th notes, and they're written, there's no accents, and they go on forever and ever and ever. One thing that could be a way to bring something that we call phrasing is phrasing to the beat. You can give a little emphasis. It's okay. Music doesn't need to be like a computer, right? And there's a lot of places in your program, I think, where you have similar things, right? So if there's one dynamic and it doesn't show any change, you can still bring something to it. Then the other thing is, if you have a line, like what's this? I did this one in graduate school. One 2-measure phrase. So what did I do to make it a phrase? I'm going to just some specific things. I used a roll speed that was like a 1-track mind. It wasn't da 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 da. It was just one thing, right? One phrase, one musical sentence, and then I moved around from there, right? Does that make sense? And then you as the player, there's a million, it's an infinite spectrum of ways you can do that. It could be, let's see. And then at the end, I got very soft, right? It doesn't have to be that way. You can peak the crescendo, or sooner or later. Less or more. In this particular song, that's an excerpt from a piece called Preludio No. 3 by Nair Zaro, who teaches in Florida. He's a percussion professor there. You can peak that crescendo in the middle, you can peak it at an end, you can do it a dozen other ways. But that's what we mean when we're talking about phrasing. So in your show, you have you have phrases everywhere, right? Everything is part of a phrase. If it's 8 measures long, you can decide as a musician or as a section or with your teacher, what are we going to do? Usually doing nothing is less preferable to doing something, okay? So there's no wrong or right, I think, in my opinion. But doing something with phrasing is generally preferable to doing nothing. So that's the thing, it's freedom. It's like, what are you going to say to me when you meet me? Hey, how are you doing? How are you today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would have thought he would have said, yeah. It's his choice, right? How are you? What did you do this morning?
Got ready to come here.
Got ready to come here, yeah. You all got ready to come here, but you all gonna have different answers. Just like when you play a phrase, you're all gonna, if you really put yourself into it, you're all gonna have a different way to interpret the play of phrase. And then lastly, look, when you have these double laterals, and you're training this kind of like outside-inside thing, which you have a lot of in this solo, the tendency is that these are out of control and too loud. So you do a lot of work to try to balance. You know, not everything has to be, you're kind of soft, but you know what I mean, like super even. Right? So you want to really turn the ears on all the time. And I just say, you're playing so well, you're so brilliant. I want to empower you, to make musical decisions as an individual. Okay? Great job.
Yeah. Thank you so much.